Welcome to Local Living Tri-City, your go-to podcast for exploring the vibrant communities of Temecula, Murrieta, and Menifee. Join me, Liz Jones, as we dive into real estate insights and local business stories, bringing you closer to the heart of our Tri-City area. Let's get started with today's episode. Hi, everyone. This is Liz Jones, and today I have a special guest with me. This is City Council member Ron Holliday. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
You bet. Well, we're going to kind of touch on a few things. First and foremost, I wanted to get to know Ron, and off camera, we were just having a few conversations, and I loved what I heard. What I can tell you from not knowing you deeply yet is what I witness. And as I stand back and I go to an event like this morning, we met at a chamber breakfast. And from on the dais, when I go in and I see a city council meeting, I see a man of character. And I'm a woman who reads my Bible, and I think of Daniel. So you really have that spirit throughout you and throughout what you do for our community. So I know that's going to come up today.
Sure.
And I thank you for that character. So
Thank you
for being here. So to get started, Ron, a little bit about you. If you could tell me, how many years have you actually lived here in Murrieta?
Lived 1986.
86. So you really saw this place take off.
Well, there's more to it, the story of that. I first came out here in 1964. My grandparents bought 8 acres off Murrieta Road, and I would spend summers out here. Fell in love with the area. Probably fell in love with the fact I was spending time with grandparents, but always said, when I grow up, I'm going to there.
Wow.
I built my first house, which is now in French Valley, in 1986. And I've lived around here ever since.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I can tell you that family memories are incredible. I mean, on the contrary, and I hope my son doesn't see this. I'm sorry. My son says, I will never live in Murrieta. And then I think that's because he's an LA guy. He's the big city guy. And I think we have a beautiful community here. And I personally feel like we're close to everything. And clearly something about this town touched you emotionally, spiritually, and here you are. So that's wonderful. Besides being on city council, because I know that's an elected position, what do you do for a living day in, day out?
My main job, so to speak, because I've been self-employed since forever. I used to own an escrow company in Temecula.
Oh, no kidding.
Started it and made it the number one escrow company over the years and sold that a long time. I became, through that process, I wasn't doing escrows. I just owned the company. I had a lot of free time. And so I had a lot of people ask me for help. I had been doing investments for about 10 years for myself. People knew I was successful. They say, hey, can you help me? I was playing golf with an investment advisor. I'm like, what do I need to do to get licensed? He goes, I'll get you licensed. That was 28 years ago.
No kidding.
And I absolutely love it and could do that the day I die.
I think that's beautiful. So you do investments for others. You
Yes.
guide them through their investments. And that might be like 401ks.
It's really
Management
anything.
funds.
I take more of a holistic approach. So I have clients ask me about real estate transactions, which I don't participate in.
Right.
But I've invested in real estate since I was 18. So I have a lot of experience with it. So I can advise them. And even like a 401k that they have at their work. Let's say they had a previous 401k and I'm managing 100,000, but they have $500,000 of the one at work. They're not managing that properly. What good does it do if I'm doing really great over here and this is not being done right? So I take more of a holistic approach where I want to give them advice on anything related financial to their lives, health insurance, anything that could be a problem. So encourage doing a trust and just making sure they're financially healthy.
I think when people are financially healthy, the family has a fighting chance.
Absolutely.
I think that there's probably no bigger cause for divorce than financial weakness or stress. And I think that there's a peace. I mean, as Christians, we know where our peace comes from, but there's still this humanity in us that can't really feel at our personal best unless we've got our house in order.
And society certainly pushes us in different directions. I teach Dave Ramsey's class once a year for free. Getting out of debt is something to help clients do. It's like get out of debt, stay out of debt, even house debt. Ultimately, when you retire, our goal when I'm sending up a younger client to retire is you're not going to have a house payment when you retire.
Right. Interesting statistic that they said this morning at our networking breakfast as they were talking about people are staying in their homes longer and plan to. So I guess for anybody who's looking at this podcast today, stay in place is something that is somewhat of a new concept for whatever reason, but we are seeing our population here age with their home rather than a lot of influx. We'll segue to this for a second and come back to us personally. But one of the facts that we heard today was the number one movement to this area are from San Diego and Orange County and LA County because of affordability here
And safety.
and safety. And that is something that I know we'll talk about today. I know it's something that's hugely important in my life. My husband is traveling this week, and I live in a very safe gated community. And it's a peace knowing that the door is not always locked and that I can go to bed at night, right? And I'm safe. When he's gone, I do feel the need to check all the locks because I'm alone at that. So, but we have the most incredible community, and I live right next door to a police officer for the Murrieta Force. So it's a really great thing. And I'm sure you're right. There's not a lot of places that have that safety and security, especially in our big cities across the state of California. So segueing back, you were sharing that you also serve on a board. What is that name of that board? And it's for a church?
Yes, I'm a treasurer of Promise Christian Church here in Murrieta.
It's great.
Right off of Madison, just down from Walmart.
And they also have a school, you said.
They do.
That's one.
Do infant all the way through second grade.
That's beautiful. I was thinking about that for my grandkids. So that's wonderful. Well, clearly you've got a full plate. You're serving your community, both spiritually and helpful and financial. And yet you chose to get into, let's say, a level of local politics. Tell me more about that.
Well, it actually started a long time ago, 1996. I was living in the kind of the northwest part of town, and the city council had done something unusual, which upset a lot of residents. And the next council meeting they had after that action, they had it at the Murrieta High School Performing Arts Zone, which is a big facility,
right?
Standing room only.
Oh, no kidding.
Residents were upset, and I was among them. Like, there's problems down at City Hall if this is what they're doing. And I don't want to go into details.
Right.
This really was nonsense. But it upset a lot of people. And so I said, I can do better than that. I'm going to get involved. I met Chuck Washington. He was on the Murrieta City Council back then. And I kind of gravitated towards him because he seemed to be, a reasonable, thoughtful person. And he agreed that they had messed up. So he was owning that mistake. And so after the meeting, I went up to him. I said, what would I need to do to be on city council?
Wow.
And he said, oh, well, here's person to contact was Kate Vincent, was the city clerk back then. So talk to her. She'll let you know the timeframes and what to do. But I would suggest you get involved in some committees or commissions. And so I got appointed to the steering committee, which no longer exists, but it was back in the early 90s when the city first formed. And I said, the council appointed me. He said, yeah, you would be good on that. And I became the treasurer of the Murrieta Chamber of Commerce. I became the treasurer of the Murrieta Valley Foundation. I'm kind of an all-in kind of guy. I don't do well just sitting around. So I always have lots of things to do. And served, I think it was 7 years as the treasurer of the chamber back then. And got into all those things. I did run for city council in 97. I think there was 3 seats open. It was not districts back then. And I believe there were 19 candidates.
Oh, my Lord.
And I came in 9th, I believe.
Oh, there's a lot of people running for that one.
Yes, because a lot of people were still upset. But I got to know a lot of people. In fact, I met Kelly Ciarto, and he and I became friends from that. And I've told him many times over the years, both privately and publicly, the better man got elected because his dedication. And at the time, I was building up my business.
Right.
And I had younger kids, and I could not have put in the effort that he did. He burned every vacation hour he had just to do city work. And obviously, he is now our state senator, has been our state assembly person, has done a phenomenal job. And I tell him all the time, even the fact he's in Sacramento, dealing with what's in Sacramento,
Oh, that's tough enough.
he's still a better man than I.
Well, just having to juggle and knowing what your forces are against you with your point of view and how small seed you are amongst that ocean, that's a tough uphill battle.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. And so then you kept pursuing.
Well, I stayed involved. Obviously, it was on those organizations. Murrieta Valley Foundation closed years ago. We're doing stuff for youth. We created a sports field over by the theaters on Cal Oaks, which is now Luke Ramp. So that went away eventually. Things change over 30 years. Eventually, I moved from inside of Murrieta up to La Cresta. I built a house for myself and a house for my parents with their money for their house. But across the driveway, they were aging, and at some point they were going to need care. And when that time came, I had to go across the driveway every night to help my mom. And so if she wasn't across the driveway, that would have been a challenge.
Sure.
As they both aged and they're no longer with us now, it was a blessing to be able to have them across the driveway. And my wife had horses. She had her horses right down the driveway where we had the barns.
That's peaceful.
It was a beautiful place. I absolutely loved it up there, but I got asked to run for council again, and it was totally a God thing, because serious person of faith that drives most of my actions in my life. I don't impose it on anyone else, which is why people don't feel threatened by my faith, which they shouldn't. But it was entirely clear that I needed to sell my beautiful place up there and move into Murrieta and run for city council. And the Bible says that God places all powers into authority, not always for our good. But I said, well, if he wants me to be there, I'll be there. And I ran the campaign. My wife and I knocked on over 3,000 doors in our district. And fortunately, I was able to secure the seat.
I think I witnessed our city council stand up and pray right before that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that was happening before.
And yes, and since we are all of similar faith, we hold hands during the invocation each week.
Love that.
Which shows some unity, support of each other. Not that everything is always smooth.
Well, of course. Yeah. We're still you guys are 4 minds and city managers, 5 minds, 5 minds. And that is hard to get everybody in alignment.
Yeah. It's just how you do. That is the key.
And I think that speaks to the man that you are. And our earlier conversation about Daniel, I think you believe that God will put it all into place where it needs to be. And that shows through your actions.
And it's not about me. And I tell people all the time, I'm nobody. It's not important that I get recognized or that somebody says, oh, well, you did that. No, it's important as the outcome. What's the best for Murrieta? What's the best for our residents? The fact that in the Sacramento realm that they're fighting over these things that have divided the state and this country, it's like, that's not where we should be fighting.
No, our energies could
leave enough room for people to have beliefs on both sides of whatever it is. And let's move the state or the city forward that benefits everybody.
I love that. That's great.
Thank you for listening to Local Living Tri-City. Stay tuned for more insights and stories from Temecula, Murrieta, Menifee, and surrounding areas. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend that is passionate about the Tri-City area as you are. Goodbye for now, and we'll see you next episode.